Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Arena of Aurethious podcast. I am Al Basler, aka Aurethious, and it's been a minute, hasn't it? Easy for me to say. We took a little bit of a hiatus for about a month, maybe more. I don't know, but we're back. We're here for episode 7. I guess just kind of to explain the little hiatus. It's been busy. It's been a really busy time of year for me. This time of year always gets really busy for me as we get into spring. I think I've mentioned it before on a previous episode, but I do coach softball for the local youth program here in Brockton, and on top of that, I'm also doing a lot of the stuff behind the scenes to get everything ready for the season. So this has been a real busy month-ish as we get ready to go. Actually, the season just started this week, which it doesn't feel like it has because, unfortunately, this past weekend, or by the time this comes out, it's probably going to be the weekend before. But I tested positive for COVID a week ago Friday, or a week as I'm recording this. It's the 15th of April as I'm recording this, so this probably isn't going to go up for a few days. But a week ago today, from the time I recorded this, I started feeling sick and didn't really think much of it. I was just, like, oh, I'm getting a cold. Spring weather here sometimes in Massachusetts, it can kind of go a little haywire, where sometimes you can go from being pretty cold to decently warm with the drop of a hat, and sometimes it can kind of mess with you. So I was just thinking, it's a spring, it's a spring cold, really, is what it was going to boil down to. But the next day, I had a bunch of softball-related stuff I was supposed to be practicing with my team. I was going to be doing stuff with some of the other coaches, and I just figured, you know what, better to be safe than sorry. Let me take a home test, and it came back positive. And I was like, oh no, this is like the worst time for this. And so I actually, for the better part of this week, I've been in quarantine. Again, as this is out, I'm actually, by the time this is being released, I'm probably I'm definitely out of quarantine, and hopefully I'll be feeling a bit better. You'll notice at least once during the actual discussion coming up, you'll see me cover and cough and mute. I think I muted in time. Basically, at this point, I'm just dealing with a cough. But I got hit pretty bad with it, and full disclosure, I don't care who knows what. Like, I'm fully vaccinated. I've had a booster shot, and the day that I tested positive, like, I was still feeling fine, like relatively fine that morning. Like, definitely, obviously sick, but and then it just hit me like the worst flu that I've ever had. And knock on wood, I'm pretty fortunate. I don't really get sick all that much, and when I do get sick, it's really not too bad. Like, when people talk about like the man cold or whatever, like I get a cold and stuff like that, but I never get really, really sick. So this hit me pretty hard. For the weekend, I was basically just laid out in bed and just not doing anything. And so, but yeah, is what it is at this point. Sad that again, 2 years into this pandemic, and we're still dealing with this stuff, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon, which is unfortunate. But feeling a lot better now, and hopefully, as we're kind of settling into a groove with softball, that I'm going to be able to find more time to record. Because that was the big thing, is with being as busy as I was, it was really hard for me to find time to get together and record with people. So I'm hoping that changes. So I don't want to commit to weekly episodes right now. If we can do it, great. I got some ideas lined up, some things that I would like to do with the podcast. So we're hoping we can kind of get some consistency back going. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. This episode is cool and timely because we are, at the time that this is out, I'm assuming that I'm releasing this on Tuesday like I plan to. It is the week of PAX East 2022. So for those of you who don't know, PAX is a gaming convention. There's several different ones in various locations throughout the world, actually, now, over the course of the year. PAX East is held in Boston every year, and I had been going to PAX for years. I believe I mentioned it during the discussion with our guests that I started going in 2011, I believe, and I had gone to PAX East every year from that point until 2020. And we actually talked a little bit about it towards the end of the discussion. PAX East 2020 was literally weeks before everything kind of went out of whack with the COVID pandemic and everything started shutting down. So the timing was mostly, I guess you could say, mostly fortunate. I feel like there might have been a few people who did get COVID at PAX that year, but it was one of the last things that I really did before everything kind of shut down. So I've been going for years, and one of the things that I always looked forward to, and one of the main things that I would do while I was at PAX, is the PAX Pokémon League. So we're going to get into what the PAX Pokémon League is. We're going to be talking to Erkenhelm and Scott, who are the two admins of the PAX Pokémon League at PAX East. They're the ones who organize everything behind the scenes, get everything ready to go, and kind of keep everything running over the course of the PAX weekend. So we're going to talk to them, give you a little bit of an idea of what the PAX Pokémon League is and what they've got in store for everybody coming up this week. So without any further ado, let's get to our friends Erkenhelm and Scott talking about the PAX Pokémon League. All right, welcome back to the arena, and this week we're coming up on PAX East 2022, so I have been joined by two gentlemen who are responsible, I don't know if that's the right word, for providing the PAX Pokémon League to all the wonderful folks at PAX East. We have Erkenhelm and Scott. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing all right. How about you?
Very nice, very nice. So I guess to start, for those who are uninitiated, we're going to assume people know what Pokemon is. I don't think we need to go that far back. But if you could, Erkenhelm, if you want to kick us off, kind of let people know what the PAX Pokémon League is. If you have no idea, you heard this thing, maybe you're going to PAX, but you all of a sudden you're like, hey, I like Pokemon, I'm going to be at PAX. What's this Pokemon League thing?
All right. Well, since we're assuming knowledge of Pokemon, so the Pokemon games and show and everything. So it's basically you take the gym challenge from the video games, and we're recreating that in real life at PAX. We have people walking around the convention. They're wearing bright green scarves that show off that they're a gym leader. All you have to do is you get your Switch, and this time around we're using Sword and Shield. You just walk up, ask them for a battle, and you beat them, and you collect their badge. And just like the games, and you collect 8 badges. You move on to our elites. You beat 4 of them. You go on to our champion. If you can beat the champion, you can enter our Hall of Fame.
And just like that, you're immortalized.
Exactly.
Now, I mean, this has been going on for a long time. I mean, pulling back the curtain and all that stuff. So I was involved with the PAX Pokémon League for many years. This is going to be the first year actually, post-COVID, not counting the COVID years, in like 10 years that I'm not going to PAX. So this is going to be a little bittersweet for me. But I remember the first PAX I went to, which I believe was East 2011, I believe was the first one I went to. I found out about it literally, I want to say a month before PAX. I was able to get full passes for the weekend. And then I started going on the PAX forums just to kind of see, like, what is this thing that I'm going to? And I found a thread about the PAX Pokémon League, and I was like, wow, this seems really, really cool. So I remember going, and then I went in with the mindset. I brought I think it was DS at the time. I think we were back on like black and white at this point. And I'm like looking around for the people with the green scarves, and I found them. I got to battle a few of them, and it was really cool. That's my, I guess, my intro to the PAX Pokemon League, like my first experience with it. I think I want to say I was a challenger maybe the next couple of years after that, or at least one more, and then I actually got involved as a gym leader. Scott, what was your first run-in with the PAX Pokemon League?
Pretty much the same thing. Just going to PAX and then looking up what was available there.
It was the same with you. Like, did you find through the PAX forums? Because I know, like, I mean, now it's 2022. People are gonna be like, "What the hell's a forum?" But like, that was one of the big ways of people plugging stuff. I mean, this is well before they had the PAX apps and all that stuff. Because I'm trying to think, did they even have the PPL forums back then? I want to say yes, but
so I don't know exactly when the forums were made, but I do know that they were around in 2013 when I first found it.
I mean, it was primarily probably used at first for kind of the behind-the-scenes organization and everything, getting everything together. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, Erkenhelm, what was your first PAX PPL experience?
It's funny because mine was essentially exactly the same as both of yours. I threw the idea out to my friend of going to PAX once I had discovered that it was so close, because it's like an hour and 15-minute drive away. And I'm just Googling stuff like tips and stuff about conventions to figure out what it was going to be like, and on the Penny Arcade forums saw the post and was like, oh, that sounds really cool. And then I believe you were my first gym leader.
Really?
I believe you were. That year they were calling them leader swarms, which was basically like it was like a half-hour period a couple times a day where like a small group of gym leaders would be in a certain predetermined spot. So I believe I found you and 2 or 3 other gym leaders in like the main entrance area. And I believe you were the first one I challenged, and you were doing triples. I think you were ground type that year.
That sounds like me.
Or grass type.
Yeah, probably.
But you had your theme of all green Pokemon.
Yep.
It was triple battles, and you kicked my butt.
I love. I'm still sad to this day that they've never brought triples back. I feel like, at this point, when we're on the Switch, and I know there's people who will still complain about the power of the Switch and everything and all that, but I feel like we should be able to bring triples back and rotations back, but triples, please? Please? I like doubles and all that, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah.
No,
singles has always been my forte, so I'm not too worried about the triples, but I know a lot of people probably miss them.
The more Pokemon on the field, the more fun. That's how it's supposed to be. No. I remember, and I think the swarm thing came from the whole idea of, I think one of the pieces of feedback that they got, because after every event, the various admins will put out kind of a survey just to kind of, get a feel for what people thought, things they liked, things that maybe they thought could be improved and all that stuff. And I think one of the complaints was that it was hard sometimes to find leaders, because the original idea was you just find them in the wild while you're kind of going around the convention. Like, I don't think there was actually set meetups. I could be wrong about that. It's, again, this is 10 years ago brain trying to remember things, but that was one of the things, and I think it coincided with there was like Pokemon swarms in one of the games where there would be like outbreaks of Pokemon. So like, oh, we'll kind of incorporate that. So we'll have times where, if you go to this place, you'll find a few leaders hanging around, stuff like that. But yeah, I've one of the things that was always cool about me, like about PPL, like for me, is it was that whole idea of kind of taking the in-game experience and kind of bringing it to this convention. 'Cause it's like, you can enter tournaments and all that stuff, and I know that there are, there's usually at least one tournament in the games going on during that weekend usually. But just that whole idea of like going around, finding these gym leaders, battling them, getting their badges, making that progress like you do in the games over the, even though it's accelerated over the course of a couple of days. Like I always thought that was such a cool concept. One of the things that I don't know, I always look forward to, maybe more than anything else, going to PAX as I kind of got along in it. There's been all these different kind of versions and things, like, the base, kind of like the games themselves, the core idea generally doesn't change very much. Kid sets out on his Pokemon adventure, has to go to all the different cities, find these different gym leaders, get the badges, yada yada yada. But there's always different little, like, flavors of things that change from game to game. And the PPL has kind of always tried to do things like that too, is incorporate maybe some of the things from the most current generation as like these, little themes or side events or stuff like that. So, I don't know, Scott, if we want to start with you on this, is it like anything specific, maybe a little different wrinkle or something that you guys have planned this year that maybe will be a little bit different for even people who might be, veterans of challenging the PAX Pokemon League?
Oh, I got nothing.
You got nothing.
Well, yeah. So I think largely what you're referring to has been like our side activities and trying to fit that along with something in with the game, which in the past we've done, and kind of linked to raffle prizes where we have a little activity that you can do kind of like while you're waiting in between battles with gym leaders, because they get queues and a couple people deep, so you're kind of looking for something to do. That has always been something fun to plan out, and always fun to see challengers doing. The thing is, we found in the past few years, not a lot of challengers did them, so we're more focusing on the actual battles. So we don't necessarily have a side activity, but the big difference this year is actually we have a dedicated space for short periods of time throughout the weekend. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, instead of side activities like that, we basically have a space where we can do kind of like community activities. So I don't know if you want to jump into that right now.
Well, yeah, do you guys have that information, or is that you guys waiting to hear?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So basically, we got in touch with someone at Penny Arcade, and they came up with the idea to do a community events room, which is basically they just have a room dedicated to various communities at PAX. You could apply, kind of get a time slot where you can go and use the room, do whatever it is that your community does. So we actually have a spot every day at PAX where we'll be in the community room for 2.5 to 3 hours. So what we're doing is we're bringing a projector, and the big thing that I'm excited about is using that projector to show off some of our battles.
Oh, nice. As soon as you started saying that, I was like, I hope that's where he's going.
It's something that I think just about everyone in the PPL has thought about in the past and has wanted to do. But we've just never had the ability because we set up in the handheld lounge. Like, it's not really a space in there. We've been in the diversity lounge in the past, and again, that's all booths. We don't really have the room to do that. So this year, it's going to be a whole room all to ourselves for 2.5 to 3 hours. So especially on Sunday, we're going to be putting the champions switch, connecting that to the projector, showing off the champion battles, so people can watch and cheer along as those happen.
Now you just said Twitch, so is the plan for some of these to be live streamed on Twitch, and so the people who are in the room will see it there, but if you happen to not be at PAX, you can watch some of these?
Did I say Twitch?
You did say Twitch. Did you mean Switch?
I meant Switch.
Oh, okay. That made more sense. All right. Because I do remember. I do remember. So 2020, the last PAX that I went to, I actually did stream from the convention center at least once. I don't know if I did it twice. I know I did it at least once while I was taking battles, like early in the morning one of the days when I was kind of like down way out of the way. I found a place to set up my dock and everything. So
we were in your stream.
Yeah. So that's really cool though, because I think that might be really fun for, if that is going to be like an area dedicated for you guys for the whatever period of time. You're gonna, especially like as you said, as you get more on towards the weekend and more people are trying to challenge the champion and all that. Like those championship battles are gonna be there. I mean, I have a feeling that's gonna be a little bit popular. It's gonna draw a crowd a little bit.
I hope so. Like I said, it's something I think everyone who's been a part of PPL has wanted for some time. So I think a lot of people are excited for that. And maybe get people after their battle stick around and watch and help get them excited, as they're working their way to the champion and everything.
So I'm trying to think of things that because you guys have mentioned, you just mentioned the handheld lounge and the diversity lounge. So for people who maybe have not gone to PAX before, when you hear the handheld lounge, basically just think it's an area with a bunch of beanbags. People just chill and play typically handheld games, but they do whatever. The diversity lounge is an awesome space that's set up by PAX. There's all these different booths. By and large, they're promoting various groups that are in support of diversity in one shape or form. The PAX Pokémon League has through some of the people who have been involved with it have been able to been fortunate enough to get a spot in that diversity lounge over the years, and it's we have this whole thing going on. You have this convention, and then this these various activities going on. I guess one thing that trying to think of, like, people have asked over the years, like, I guess the big one is, I heard about this thing. How do I get involved? Do I have to sign up? Like, how do I play with the PAX Pokémon League?
So it's very easy. There's a little extra step this year because we with COVID and everything, we introduced like our online version of the Pokemon League. So we had two longtime members of the PPL offered to make a bot for us that it's a queue system. It tracks badges. There's a web page with it has like a digital trainer card, shows the battles you've won and all that. So we've basically they've taken that and they've converted that to an in-person version. So normally, you see the green scarf, you just walk up and just ask to battle. There's nothing more than that. Now we have this web app with the digital trainer card. So you can either go to a URL or we'll have a QR code that you can scan that will bring you to the page. It's just a simple thing. You make a username and a password. You think like if you've ever used Showdown, you just go in, you enter a name and password, and then you're done. And then you'll be able to join leader queues just through there. The leaders will have there will be a QR code on your digital card, and the leader can scan it, and it'll add them automatically. So sometimes QR codes have issues. There's also like a drop down menu with everyone's challenger name, so they can go through the drop down and find you and add you to their queue. So that's basically all it is just show up and and now you make that name, and then you just ask a gym leader like, "Hey, I'd like to get in your line."
So is it? So I was part of the first PPL Online. So like is it the same idea where the leader will like mark themselves as open, so and then challengers just jump in?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know if there's like hey, I'm taking challengers versus I'm not taking challengers mode, because it's going to be, it's going to be up to the leader to add to their queue so they can.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if they're just not taking challengers, they just won't add people to their queue. But yeah, it's as long as if they're around, it's pretty much, we tell people if they have their scarf on, that means that they're accepting challengers.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. So I think is there anything else like specific to this year, or anything else that you want people to know specifically before we kind of move on to just kind of more general PPL sort of things?
Well, I can give the times that we're in the community room.
Let's give some times.
Yeah. So Thursday, we are going to be there from 3 to 6 p.m. So we got the 3 hours there. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're going to be there from 12 to 2:30. So we got a shift each day. And if you have the PAX app on your phone, we're on the schedule. So if you need a reminder, you can just go and filter to the community room, and you'll see us there. And then they have a thing that you can add to your schedule, and you get notifications like reminders and stuff.
Nice, very nice. So like I always look at the PPL as, like I said, it's always been one of my favorite things at PAX for years and years. I mean, I'll even go so far as to say that it was the main reason I would even go at all. And I look back over the course of 10-ish years that I've either been a leader, challenger, or whatever, and I'm trying to think back of like some of my like favorite PPL memories over the years, and I remember one distinctly as a challenger. I don't remember exactly what year it was. I want to say it was maybe 13, either 12 or 13. It was before I was a leader, and I actually battled Joe, who people might remember as Oceanus, who was a leader for several years, and we just had this really great battle that he definitely should have won, but he gave me one turn to get back into the battle, and it became this like classic battle. And I was like, I always remembered that battle. It was one of those like favorite battles I think I've had in Pokemon. And this was even well before I was like really even well versed in competitive, so it was like really cool to me. And then I remember there have been times of seeing some of the younger kids who are participating and just seeing like the excitement they have when they get to battle against some of these gym leaders and when they win. Like, it's so awesome. Scott, do you have any like favorite PPL memories? Anything that sticks out as like, why you keep coming back to be part of this every year? Because now you guys are running the show here.
Like, I always remember one of the gym leaders was Brock, and the entire weekend they would just be going. I used my trusty frying pan as a drying pan.
Nice. Yeah, there was. I mean, one thing, and I will say is that, and one of the things that I really enjoy about PPL is that it is one of those situations where you can role play if you would like. You're encouraged to if you want to, but you're not forced to. I always think that it's a very delicate. It's one of the reasons why I like certain MMOs as opposed to others, because some of them are more like casual, some are more like it's let people play at their own pace. But I've always found the PPL is big on that as well. Like if you're creating your gym leader characters, you can play it up as much as you want, but like it's not one of those things like, hey, you better stay in character at all times or else you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's very casual and fun, but we do have gym leaders, cosplay as their gym leader character, and I always remember one gym leader. She was like a pirate captain, I think, and she cosplayed and everything, and she spent the whole weekend talking with the accent and everything, and it was
That's dedication
very
right
committed. There. Yeah, and then I'm sure a lot of people remember when we were on Sun and Moon. We had the Team Skull grunts.
Oh man, yes.
Yeah,
That was a phenomenon that year.
yeah. Team Skull was very popular, so we had a team that were doing multi battles. They cosplayed Team Skull grunts. They were every day. They talking like the same way that Team Skull members talk. And then there was even at one time, they had a shift at our booth, and they basically took over the booth. And we have this like draw a Pokemon thing where we basically like cut out like trading card size pieces of paper, and people could draw Pokemon. And we had sleeves, so you can put it in and display it. And I think during their like 2 hours at the booth, they just had everyone draw Crocodile, I think.
Yeah, I just remember there was at one point, and I think it was during that same shift where they just tried to like, I don't know if they just happened to go around for the entire like day before that, and anybody they found wearing any kind of Team Skull cosplay, they were like, all right, you need to come here at this time. And there was like this whole swarm of just Team Skull grunts all over the place. They had like taken over the diversity lounge.
Yeah. And I think one other thing was, I think that year, our side activity involved like having like different gym leaders had like a different simple task you could do or something like that. So theirs was to bring them 2 lanyards because the signs say to only take one, and you don't listen to authority and everything. So bring them 2 lanyards.
Yeah. Oh man, that's those Team Skull. What are you gonna do with those ruffians?
Yeah, they were very committed to their bit.
Hey, some people live the gimmick, man. Some people live the gimmick. So cool. Before we get ready to wrap things up, I guess the one other thing that we kind of always get asked, typically, at least I notice, is like, aside from how do I participate while I'm here, is like, how do I get involved? Like, if I wanted to be a gym leader, if I wanted to get involved with the PAX Pokémon League as more than just a challenger, like, what do I do? So if there's anybody who's like, wow, this PAX Pokémon League thing sounds really cool. Like, I got this great idea for a gym leader. Like, what do I do? What should we tell people?
Well, the best thing to do is follow our Twitter and join our Discord server. So a handful of months before each PAX, like maybe 3-4 months or so, the admins will put out applications. And we make announcements on our Twitter, and we put an announcement in our Discord server, and post on Facebook. Just a link to the application. So all you have to do is just look for that link, and you go in and fill out the application. They're usually open about a month. Kind of depends on how much time we get to prep for the PAX. So anywhere from I think 2 weeks to a month usually. And then admins go through applications and send out the emails, and we start prepping right away.
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing worth mentioning too, is that this the PAX Pokemon League, some form of variation of it is at every PAX event at this point.
Yep.
That's even including Unplugged, where they do the card game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're for those of us on the eastern seaboard of the United States, it's easy for us to get to PAX East, but there's West in Seattle. Actually, they just nuked South, didn't they?
Yeah, they canceled it for the foreseeable future.
So but we've got Unplugged, and are they still doing Australia?
Yep.
Am I missing any? That's all of them, right?
That covers all of them. Yeah, unless they decide to do PAX Online again.
Oh, right.
Right, but we do. I mean, we've basically established our online version of PPL kind of independent of any sort of PAX Online that they might do.
Right. Yeah. Are you guys planning on doing another one of those at any point this year, or?
We have applications open for our next PPL Online right now.
So people still have time to apply for that.
Yeah. I believe they're open for another 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today, I believe, is when they close.
April 29th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that would be 2 weeks.
Yeah. So basically the same idea. Just hit up the PAX Pokémon League Discord, and all the relevant links and information is there.
Yeah, we have an announcements channel, so and there's obviously some East announcements in that channel, so you just scroll up a few posts to find the online application. And that is taking place, let me look at the date. It's June
24th to the 26th.
24th to 26th. There you go. Thanks, Scott.
Very nice.
So June 24th to 26th is when it's actually happening, and it's all in our Discord server with a bot.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. The first one that you guys did that I took part in. I didn't really do much. I didn't get involved much for the second one, but that was kind of in the height of nothing going on because of COVID. And it was just really cool seeing all the battling going on. You had leaders streaming on Twitch their battles. So, I mean, almost any point in time, you had somebody taking battles, and almost any point in time, you could tune into someone's channel and check out some battles going on. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it gives us because the online and everyone's at home and everything, it gives us some opportunities that we can't really get in person, like the Twitch streams and all that stuff. So it's a bit unique. It's unfortunate we can't get that in person aspect. For those who have been to an in-person PAX, I think a lot of us, I think everyone was disappointed just by online conventions in general, just because it's not the same. But online does give us those different opportunities, and we do almost make it like our own mini conventions. We do panels on our the PPL Twitch channel, and like you said, different gym leaders are streaming their battles, and it's technically a 24-hour event, but obviously it's limited by time zones.
Yeah. Those dreaded hours when the sun is up. Although I guess that doesn't matter. Some people are nocturnal.
Yeah, that's true. And we do, and I mean, again, because it's online, we can get people from all over the world.
Right.
So for online, I mean, our group of gym leaders are largely coming from the U.S., so the majority of gym leaders are going to be available during standard U.S. times. But we do get some of our Australian gym leaders joining in on that. So, like I said, it's technically a 24-hour event, so there could be a leader or two online, at the middle of the night for us in the U.S. because they're in Australia.
Nice, very nice. So I guess before we completely wrap things up, I haven't really talked to you guys too much lately about PAX in general, mostly because I'm not going. So I think I've maybe tried to avoid finding out anything of which will make me regret not going. But I've always said that if you have never gone to a convention and you're into games, like, and you can make it to PAX, and I always specifically talk about East just because that's my experience, that you should go. You should go for at least 2 days, because trying to experience everything that you're going to see in just one day sometimes is a bit much to take in. But and I think tickets are actually still available, except for I think Saturday finally sold out, but there's still weekend passes left. I think I saw that the other day. So it's crazy because that's normally not the case. So there's actually still a chance to grab tickets if you haven't yet. But, outside of obviously the PAX Pokémon League, which you guys do a fantastic job in bringing to the folks, is there anything in particular going on this year at PAX that you guys are looking forward to? I don't know, Scott, if you want to go first with that. What's on Scott's schedule?
I'm just looking forward to see everybody that I haven't seen in the past 2 years.
I can definitely understand that. That's the one thing I'm going to kind of miss out about not going, is that there's people that you run into year after year, and that's the time you see them is at PAX, and I'm going to miss out on seeing people. So,
and I won't get to woo at you at PAX this year.
Yeah, we'll get an extra couple of woos next year.
Woo!
What about you, Erkenhelm? What do you got in store? Anything particularly exciting on the horizon for PAX?
So, I mean, I'm like you said, PPL is kind of one of the big reasons I go to PAX. That's the very large majority of my weekend is spent around PAX, so I don't do a lot of other stuff while I'm there. So I just like walking around the expo hall and spending money, looking to see if there's anything.
That's where you and I differ. I try and stay out of that expo hall as much as possible.
Yeah, that's basically the two things I go to PAX now are the PPL and to spend some money without having to pay shipping.
That's fair. That's a good reason. Yeah, like I said, it's funny. So I mentioned this in the intro, but I'm just getting over COVID myself right now, and part of my thing was like, I don't know how I feel about going to a convention right now. And then the other day I was talking to someone and I'm like, well, Jesus, now that I already got COVID, what the hell am I worried about? But yeah, I had a buddy of mine who usually I'll buy passes for him when I get my passes, because I'm fortunate enough to be able to be monitoring a computer, generally speaking, when passes typically go on sale. So I'm usually the one that people are like, hey, can you grab me some passes? Yeah, I'll do what I can. But he reached out to me. He was like, hey, are you going to PAX East this year? And I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not really sure. I'll have to kind of figure it out as we get closer to when passes go on sale. And he's like, oh, passes go on sale tomorrow. And I was like, oh, so I should probably make a decision on that. I guess I'm kind of a no right now. So, apparently I wasn't the only one who thought that way with how, there's still so many passes available, but.
Yeah, I mean, like you alluded to, it's a little strange that tickets haven't sold out.
Because that was the thing, like I said, the first year that I went, I literally found out about it, like a month or so before the event, and I was able to get a weekend pass. And, to think about that, the last few years before COVID, I mean, those weekend passes sell out in, minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So, are they doing 4 days? Or is it just 3?
It's 4 days.
It's 4 days still?
Thursday through Sunday, yeah.
Cool. All right. So, well, I'll have to live vicariously through the people I know who go. So I'll be expecting lots of pictures and tweets and all that fun stuff to make me feel like a jerk for not going.
Well, it's not too late. There's still tickets available.
I know. It's at this point though, it'd be so hard. So I have so much stuff going on with softball. We just started our season, and then next weekend actually is our opening day ceremony. So it didn't work out. That would have been terrible, terrible planning for me. Has there actually? That's a good point. This feels like the latest that it's been in a long time.
Yeah.
Have we heard any talk about if this is going to be a consistent thing being this late in April?
I haven't heard anything. I know PAX East is like the one of all the conventions that just moves all over the place.
It always kind of bounces around. It's like sometimes it's early February, and then sometimes it's March, and then sometimes it's April. And cause, I mean, West is always Labor Day weekend, right?
Right.
So
yeah, and so I know like 2020. PAX East was the last weekend of February, which I believe was the earliest it's ever been.
It was also
and it worked out.
Yeah, because if it was any later, it would have got canceled.
Yeah, right. We snuck in there right before everything really started shutting down because of COVID.
Yeah, that was my like last pre-COVID memory. Really, was that I had there's someone I work with that went, and we kind of joked after the fact. We're like, well, supposedly this thing is like 2 weeks, so let's count 2 weeks, and if we're safe, we're safe. And then it was. I mean, there was not much. I mean, there were people here and there wearing masks, but it wasn't that prevalent. And they would see they were like cleaning the escalators and all that stuff, and I mean, not quite to the degree that we see now. And like looking back at it then, and then seeing where everything went in a couple weeks was wild.
Yeah, I think the biggest sign we saw at East that year was that a handful of fairly large companies, I think, pulled out of the show pretty late.
Yeah,
especially like those like based in Japan. So like I think like Sony pulled out, and I want to say Square Enix pulled out. And I think there were a handful of others.
I don't know if this is my memory just making this up, or wasn't there another convention in Boston around that same time where it ended up being like a super spreader event for it? I want to say it was like some kind of like a science convention. I don't know if it was like the week before or something like that. I remember hearing something about it because everyone was like, "Oh, you went to a convention? Was it that convention?" I was like, "No. Mine was the nerd convention." Oh, but that was science. That was nerds too. I was like, different nerds. They're smarter nerds.
Different category. Yeah. I don't remember hearing anything like that, but I mean, I can't say it didn't happen, but I don't remember that. So,
well, cool. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on to talk about this. Like I said, this is. I know I'm going to have at least one moment that weekend where I shed a little bit of a tear because I'm going to see something posted from the PPL Twitter account or something that's going to make me go, "Oh man, I wish I was there." But again, if you're interested, check out the PPL Discord. We're going to have links to everything in the description. If you're listening to this on Spotify, it'll be there. If you're watching this on YouTube, just go below the video. We'll have all the PPL links, Twitter, Discord, anything you need to know but we're afraid to ask about how to find the PAX Pokémon League. We'll have it there for you. And I'm again a little sad I'm not going to be there, but again, you guys do a great job bringing that to everybody at East. So best of luck. I don't know if that's the right way. Have fun. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you this year. It'll be the first time I've been where you haven't been there.
Yeah, you guys do fine without me. No? Scott says no.
Scott doesn't have confidence.
2023 will be another year. Well, hopefully I'll feel a little bit better about it by then. But
yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks. I appreciate it a ton. And like I said, we'll put the links in there. And I hope you guys all have a great PAX. And we will catch up soon, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, that was our friends Erkenhelm and Scott, the admins of the PAX Pokémon League at PAX East, giving you a little bit of a taste of what you could expect to see and do if you decide to take part in the PAX Pokémon League coming up But they talked about a little bit about their online version of it as well. So if you happen to not be able to make it to a PAX, it's another way for you to get involved in something like that. So if you're into Pokemon battling, it's cool. It's very very casual friendly, I will say. You don't have to be the most hardcore competitive battler. You can still just participate and have a lot of fun with it. So if you're going to be at PAX East, go say hi to the gentleman and take part in the PAX Pokémon League. It'll be a good time. If you're interested in any of that stuff, again, check the description, whether you're listening to this on Spotify or if you're watching the video version on YouTube. Links for the PPL are going to be there for you guys to check all that stuff out. So yeah, definitely, it's a good time. Again, I'm going to have that twinge of sadness and jealousy that I'm not there, but for me, I wasn't ready to jump back into going to conventions quite yet. So hopefully that'll change, and 2023 I'll go back to PAX and see all the people that I see once a year there at PAX and enjoy the sights and sounds of the convention. So, like I said during the interview, like if you're into games and you've never been to a convention and the thought of going to a convention doesn't completely overwhelm you, it's a great experience just to go see the sights, listen to the sounds, just be in that atmosphere, because you're literally just among thousands of people who are into some of the same things that you are. Maybe there's people are into different games, and there's the expo hall where you see all the stuff that's on display. There's different merchandise booths that you can get stuff. There's a whole area dedicated to tabletop gaming. So if you're into board games or card games, like there's whole areas for that, and you can try games out before you even decide to buy them, which is really cool. There's the classic arcade that's usually there, so you can play a bunch of like real old arcade games. There's a classic console area where there's like actual old consoles that you can play games on. It's a great experience. There's concerts. I don't know if they do them every night. Or not. They definitely don't do them every night, because I know that like Sunday nights is usually not concerts. But for sure Friday and Saturday there's concerts. So there's just a lot to do. There's panel discussions, there's tournaments, there's anything that you could think of. It's great. I always tell people, if you're gonna go for at least more than one day, because there's so much stuff to experience. Don't feel pressured to see everything at once, but it's a great experience. So definitely, if you get a chance, definitely go check it out. Oh, there we go. I tried to get it through as much as possible without having to cough, but yeah. So again, there's going to be links in the description for any of that stuff. For more of my stuff, as usual, you can check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Aurethious. Again, I mentioned I took about a week off to I'm still recovering from COVID here. Hopefully, by the time this comes out, I should be back and going with my normal schedule. So you can check me out there. You can also catch me on Twitter. It's @Aurethious on Twitter. Or you can join me on the Ion Game Core Discord server, where a bunch of my friends and I hang out. A bunch of content creators doing things on Twitch, some YouTube videos, sometimes even streaming on Discord itself. So many different types of things going on that you're bound to find somebody who's playing something that you're interested in. We also have regular community game nights generally on Fridays. People playing things like League of Legends, Pokemon Unite, sometimes Rocket League, all sorts of stuff. And on top of that, we also have Pokemon Leagues and tournaments. So if you're into Pokemon battling, again, if you're someone who might be interested in the PAX Pokémon League, we got some stuff on there for the Discord that you might enjoy as well. So, but yeah, so come hang out. It's a good time. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. Before I start coughing like a maniac again, let's wrap this up. As always, I thank you all for hanging out and checking it out, and we'll catch you next time on the Arena of Aurethious.